So all sorts of things shape us as individuals, but also kind of the culture of our family, and bring us to the point we're at today. So all, you know, I'm standing here, but behind me there's that whole wealth, and some of it's not good stuff behind me that shapes me as to what I am. And so it sort of shapes our whole worldview. Now, every time you see an onion, I want it to remind you. When you think about an onion, it is just so much like a family, with the layers that are there. Sometimes you know, you can begin peeling it. What does it quite often make you do? It does. But then when you put it in the food and the flavouring, what does it make you do? It makes you, it tastes good. It can be good. Sometimes when you get to the inside of the onion, what do you find? Here's that little brown bitty, or sometimes it started ready to sprout. And so at the core, sometimes it is not good. All right? When you feel an onion, I always test the onions in the supermarket when I want to buy them. What do you do? Mainly women, probably. What do you do? It's got to be a good pukekohe onion, probably, that's really hard, or I don't buy it. Too often they're soft. But as you get in and you begin chopping, an onion is not hard, is it? It's soft. So there's just so many likenesses to a family. So look, you don't have to take any notes whatsoever, but the onion, you could draw an onion on your page if you wish while I'm talking. I won't mind if you're drawing while I talk, because I doodle and draw all the time when people talk. They think I'm taking notes, but I'm drawing. But so I'm going to put the wee reminder up here, right? Think about the story behind the layers that make you who you are. So in terms of worldview, I mean, basically, a worldview is influenced by all sorts of things. It can be culture. And I'm not just talking ethnicity. I'm talking about the way a family kind of is shaped and runs and communicates, and its values. Then just, it might be that you are in a family that really values togetherness or connectedness, or maybe it doesn't. The other things that can sharpen, there's all sorts of things that can sharpen. They can colour, they can focus. It may be the stories that sort of kind of hold you together. The chief commissioner of the chief executive of the Families Commission is a guy called Paul Curry. Anybody know Paul? He's paraplegic, was injured when a torpedo or something fell on him when he was in the Navy, and he's been in a wheelchair ever since. And they had the curry creed. Now, it's not about a recipe for a good hot curry, but their family has a creed that people learn, and it's like, I can't remember the exact words, but he's got it written up on his wall. So all sorts of things shaped us. We have now instituted something in our family so that when they're all together through January, Christmas January, which happens, they gather at our place, it's really interesting, because now we talk about things like how can we stay connected when they get spread around the world. Or that family meeting, if you don't do it, you think about that. And the other thing we've talked about is, so what values do we as a family, recognising that we're parts of other families as well, but want our grandchildren to understand, and then the generations that follow, that is important to this family. So you may find, is that this is like a little aside really, it might be an exercise you kind of want to suggest to a family you're connected with, that they may want to begin to talk about, so what's important to us as a family? What do we want the children to understand about what it is to belong to this family? And it may be stuff like responsibility or honesty or all sorts of things. So then you talk about, so what will this look like in practice? It's around what is the investment being over the generations? What's the ethic behind this family towards work, towards unemployment, towards debt? All those things will shape somebody. Because what we need to realise is some of the toughest families that And a lot will be like that. People who just, and with all of us as families, we go along and then something happens. What might it be? Death. Or sickness, divorce, marriage, redundant, thank you. All those things, so that life, which we thought we had sussed, suddenly we're kind of at risk. Everyone's at risk. And so life's crossroads and events can throw us into finding out just how fragile we are. And so everybody, sort of faces those things. And you'll find that you'll be invited into people's lives, and they've gone from being reasonably like this, where they thought they had things sussed, to sort of spinning out into a bit of chaos. And I'll just share the bare bones of a story of a young woman that I know, who I've got a mentor working with her. When it began, do you know what she wanted, this young mum? She had 2 children in her care at the time. She wanted to know how to plant a decent sort of vegetable garden, because she thought she liked gardening. And the other thing she wanted to do was she wanted to be able to cook. And like many younger ones, she didn't have mum or grandmother there that taught her how to make scones like Sue, who got up at 3 this morning to grind the flour. But she did get up at 6 to make the scones. Isn't she marvellous? Applause for Sue. But Sue's skills, a lot of young mums, young people, young dads don't have, and they don't know how to shop and all that. But this is what this young woman was like. However, over what has been nearly just on around a year now, her life has spun out. So what started reasonably, oh yeah, we can do this, this isn't too challenging, spun out with a series of events. And her life at this point is chaotic. It is chaotic. She lives in chaos, in relationship, in the physical environment. When I last saw her, she was living in what was essentially a tent in a commune, which was a dangerous place to be. And her children had been removed. So we started here, and a whole lot of things from her background had caught up with her around abuse, sexual abuse, drug abuse, rejection, disconnection from good people in her life, continuing habit of smoking pot, young children whom she loved but had no skills really, and her brain getting so fagged up that she couldn't keep appointments, didn't learn to do the cooking, her house total chaos, like absolute pigsty. So that's where we are today. And so I'm kind of putting up a bit of a flag there to you to say that what appears on the outside of the onion in the family, once you begin to peel some layers and there's some life events